TravelingMel.com.
Hey, we're in Death Valley. We're back again. It's been a handful of years since we visited Death Valley, and this is Henry's first time in the country's largest national park, outside of Alaska, of course. We're gonna show you some of our favorite spots here in Death Valley, some things to do, some tips for navigating the heat and the crowds and all of that. We are starting our trip. We got here kind of as early as we could, which wasn't that early, to try to secure a campsite. Some sites at Furnace Creek are reservable, but the one we wanted was not. So we got it, and we're hanging out. Now we're taking a drive on Artist Drive, and we stopped to get out of the car and look at this outstanding colors and geography. Geology, actually. One of the things we're gonna do on this trip is we're gonna look for some of the scenes from Star Wars, parts of what I like to call number 1, but people call number 4, The New Hope. Star Wars were filmed here, including some scenes from like Tatooine and stuff when they needed to make up some footage. And then I think some from the third one, Empire Strikes Back.
I think you mean Return of the Jedi.
Was also filmed here. So we're gonna go look for some of those sites.
Right here is in an arroyo where they filmed a scene in The New Hope with R2-D2 and C-3PO walking along it.
True that. Beep bop, boop boop, beep bop, boop boop. We're about to go hike to Darwin Falls, which should look like that. I don't know if there'll be that much water. We've kind of left, we're still in Death Valley National Park, but we're not in Death Valley itself. We had to cross over the Panamint Valley to go check this out. And it's really different than the rest of Death Valley, with willows and maybe wildflowers. Maybe not this year, but lots of amphibians and birds and all kinds of stuff. Super blue!
Oh my gosh, you guys, this falls is awesome. How do I do this? There we go. It's so cool, this barren, rocky canyon. We came up here, easy walk, about a mile. Check out Finn's video for details. And it gets narrow at the end. A couple little places where you have to cross the creek, but there are rocks or logs or stuff for getting across. But it's just so verdant in this kind of island of green and life. It's really cool. So definitely worth your time if you are on this side of the park. It is a long way from Furnace Creek and Stovepipe, but totally accessible.
Not what you were expecting in Death Valley, is it? fun to look at as it is to say.
Ubehebe!
Really big hole in the ground, beautiful colors, as tall as the Washington Memorial Monument, and there is a 1.5 mile trail around the crater, which we are about to walk, and about half a mile up this way is another smaller crater called Little Hebe, which is an adorable name. Ubehebe is a word from the Timbisha Shoshone people who still live in the area, and Ubehebe Crater translates to coyote's basket, and is an important part of their creation story. We are starting the day with a hike up Sidewinder Canyon. We stopped at the visitor center and got a free printed out map and directions. It's not really signed or marked on maps or anything, so you might want to do that. But it's about a 2-mile hike each way, and there are 3 slot canyons that are supposed to be pretty spectacular, so we're excited to go see these.
One of the challenging things about filming out here in Death Valley is that it's so big and so wide open. It's really kind of hard to get a sense of scale. It's only when you see a car or a person from afar that you can get an idea of how big this place is. Because once you get up in these slot canyons and up close to these features, it's really hard to show on a video how really big and grand they are. But we'll keep trying. Reached the end of our little slot canyon. Into our second slot canyon. Third one, that's right. Is to go down to Badwater Basin, the lowest place ever, and see the salt flats, and that's absolutely a must do. We're going to do that later too, but we also like to go about 10 miles maybe farther down the road and find a place to walk out on the salt flats where we don't see any other people, and that is what we are doing right now.
The lowest person in America!
Badwater Basin is the lowest place in the Western Hemisphere. And you can come and walk out here with all these other people, but it is pretty cool. There's this long white salt flat. It's all smooth from everyone walking on it, not like the rest of the basin. And there's a fun little sign up on the side of the hill that says sea level, so you can see how much higher sea level is than we are right now. So the lowest point is 282 feet, and we are 1 or 2 feet above it because you'd have to walk a few miles out to get to that lowest point.
When you come to the ranch at Furnace Creek, one of the things you can do is for free is sit on the lawn and have an ice cream or a cold drink, cold beer, where you can come or you can come over to this little outdoor museum to see some of the historical vehicles such as train engines and 20 mule teams and other wagons from the early days of Death Valley. It's pretty cool and definitely worth a walk around and a little 15-minute tour.
Today we are hiking up Golden Canyon. The boys and I have done this before. We just went up to Red Cathedral, but this time we are doing the full circuit, which is really the complete circuit, which means we hike up Golden Canyon and over to Zabriskie Point and down the Badlands Loop to Gower Gulch, and then we come out over there and wander back. The whole thing should be around 7.8 miles. You can get a free printout of the trail and description at the Visitor Center if you so desire. Completed the complete circuit, which was the 7.8 mile trail, and we did end up going up to the Red Cathedral, which adds an extra mile, but well worth it because I forgot how cool it is up there. Beautiful, really hot, and it's not even hot here by Death Valley standards, but it's hot by Montana standards. But glad we did it, and it was a beautiful day. Wrapping up our trip to Death Valley with a stop at Dante's View, where we can see both the lowest point of the park, Badwater Basin, and the highest point, Telescope Peak. We're at 5,000 plus feet, so it's a little bit chilly out here, but well worth a stop on our way out of the park. I told you that our last stop, Dante's View, was the last stop in Death Valley, but that was a bull-faced lie because we are now at Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, which has a little in-holding of Death Valley National Park. So we're starting out on this boardwalk that goes to the Point of Rocks, which is in the Wildlife Refuge, and then we're going to drive over to Devil's Hole, where we can see the Devil's Hole pupfish, an endangered little fish, and that's the part that is in Death Valley. So we are an hour outside Death Valley, maybe less, in Nevada, and in this little oasis we can't wait to explore.